I'm just going to read out of this book. You are the God who sees. And it's written, the author is Beshai from Egypt. I'm just going to share how I got to this book. I was just organizing my desk one day, and then this book just jumped at South Korea, China, USA, and then I saw Thailand. I thought, wow, this is interesting. This is not Cambodia, it's not Laos, it's not Myanmar, it's not Singapore, it's not Malaysia, but Thailand. So that caught my eye because we are here in Thailand. And then as I was just paging through this, so I'm just going to read this quickly just to give an overview where this comes from. So Beshai, it's 2 Corinthians 12 verse 1 to 6. I must boast, there's nothing to be gained by it, but I will go on to visions and revelations of the Lord. I know a man in Christ who 14 years ago was caught up to the third heaven. Whether in the body or out of the body, I do not know. God knows. And I know this man was caught up into paradise. Whether in the body or out of the body, I do not know. God knows. And he heard things that cannot be told, which man may not utter. On behalf of this man, I will boast, but on my own behalf, I will not boast, except of my weaknesses. Though, if I wish to boast, I shall not be a fool, for I shall be speaking the truth. But I refrain from it, so that no one may think more of me than he sees in me or hears from me. And then the verse on the front of the book, on the front pages, you are the God who sees, and that's Genesis 16:13. Then she called the name of the Lord who spoke to her. You are the God who sees, for she said, have I also here seen him who sees me? And that's New King James Version. So I'm just going to read this prophecy over Thailand that God showed or given this person, and that was in May 2009. And God just laid it on our hearts to read this out now every week and proclaim this, that we can partner with him and say yes and stand in agreement. You see me, and that is now a capital M, that's now God, as if I'm not concerned or interested in the destiny of this evil nation. And he's speaking to the people of Thailand, which is bowing with full submission to the dominion of evil. Yet you will be surprised when you see me, and that's God, opening with the utmost possible might the windows of heaven, so that the rains of his mercy and goodness will fall heavily upon this barren and sad land. He says their words to me are, we don't want you as a God. We have chosen our gods and have subjected ourselves to them. But I tell them, will a creator forsake his creation? Will a potter forsake the vessel which he has made? I am rather summoning you to wake up out of your perversion, deviation behind the gods of clay and deaf stones. You shall witness again fire falling down from heaven and the lava of the volcanoes exploding from the earth. And my cry to you is that I want to have mercy on you, people of Thailand, for you are not a land of humiliation or a land of slavery, and you were not slaves to anybody previously, but you have chosen to be degraded, humiliated, by submitting to your lusts and sins. Therefore the enemy has subjected you to the gods of depravity. However, much you try to exert efforts, work and progression, You shall continue to be the scoffing target of the nations, even from the least of those nations. For you have chosen the creation of the Creator to worship, who has therefore made you a target of his ridicule. And thus the enemy has ridiculed you amongst the nations. But the Lord cries out in his anger and says to you, kiss the Son, lest the Father becomes angry. Kiss the Son, lest you'd become objects of wrath and ashes among the nations in the coming hour, when no work, money or power would help you out. And when everything will finish and the kingdom and its throne will collapse, for the hour has approached when all the kingdoms of the earth will become the kingdoms of the Son. It is an hour in which I call upon you to choose me, a merciful master, a just king, holy and loving, peacemaker, to restore your land from your false gods, who have sucked and consumed your sweat. Return to me, for I love you. I will send a multitude of angels to this land. This is God's promise, to come with heavenly, miraculous and healing visitations to this land. I will send angels to be a light to this land. Then I will send companies of prophets to speak out, to show people the depths of sin, to comfort the suffering, to tell of the former things and to prophesy the things to come. Then I will send my church with an amazing apostolic power to penetrate this land from the head to the foot, from the highest authority to the lowest person. The streets will be full with churches which are built on the foundations of apostles and prophets. There will be an immense spiritual movement in the villages and the ranches. I will come to visit the prostitute houses and the venues of defilement with unexpected mercy. I have come to show mercy and to save what has been lost. I will send my Spirit with divine outpourings to these places, so that everyone who enters those places will be hunted by the divine grace. The newspapers will be filled with amazing stories of divine visitations among the owners of such places. I will rise up specialized apostles who are immune to break through those places, and they will do what my servant Paul did when he destroyed the might of Artemis, the goddess of the Ephesians. They will destroy this abominable trade and set many free. I will bring the bread of life to the hungry in the streets before the physical bread. I will heal the crazy people due to mental diseases in amazing, miraculous ways, as well as those who are under the influence of evil spirits. It is an hour for me to work and for my church to work. I will open this nation from its widest gates to you. Therefore, come along with me and be submissive to me. Submit to me, my people, my church, and move ahead to this country, so that you would demolish the strongholds of idolatry in East Asia, so that I may rule over through you. And then also a word that God gave also to a pastor in Myanmar. He gave him this word while the bombing was going on and there was lots of war going on. And he says it's not about a political party that needs to reign. He says it's my church that needs to rise up. That will bring the change. And that is what God also saying in this prophecy.